Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, of course, our person of the year for 2018 at It's Happening Out, had an interesting week in conjunction with the Trump shutdown. And let me tell you, kind of unwind what happened here to your point of what we must do next. There was a online streaming event this week called Donkey Kong 64. And in the middle of this streaming event, Congresswoman Alexandria came on. Let us show you a little bit of what happened there at Donkey Kong 64.
Hello?
Hi. Hello, it's fantastic to meet you. Would you like to introduce yourself in case some people don't know who you are?
Of course, everyone. My name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I am the Congresswoman for New York's 14th Congressional District.
I'm glad that the Democrats haven't caved, because it's a big thing to cave on, and it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's an issue because regardless of whether it's for a wall or for anything else, the whole point is that if we caved on this, no matter what the request was, then we're basically legitimizing the tactic of holding people's paychecks hostage.
Yes, could I say trans rights, please? I know there's a lot of people in the chat who would love to hear it.
Trans rights, absolutely. It's a no-brainer. Trans rights are civil rights, are human rights. Like I just tweeted today that in the United States, we wouldn't have to talk about bathrooms at all if everyone just washed their hands and minded their own business. Equal rights means equal rights. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter how you identify. What I think we have to reassert is that when we say that equal rights for all, we mean equal rights for all, no asterisks, exceptions, fine print, nothing.
To Aaron's point, a very interesting moment that somebody of the caliber, new congressman from New York, to come on to a streaming gaming charity event and discuss varieties of issues of equality was very interesting.
This was the most millennial headline I've ever seen.
Yeah. I was going to say, if I was the host of that show, I would have peed on myself.
I think he did pee.
Pooped. I don't even know.
I think he did. Well, an interesting thing, as positive as you all immediately think of that, there was an interesting response. Aaron Sorkin, who wrote The West Wing, directed The American President, is a brilliant writer and director, came on to television and basically slapped Congressman Alexandria down to basically say, grow up. Watch what he said in this package we have for you.
I really like the new crop of young people who were just elected to Congress. They now need to stop acting like young people. Okay, it's time to do that. There's a. I think that there's a great opportunity here now more than ever for Democrats to be the non-stupid party, to point out the difference that we are. That it's not just about transgender bathrooms. That's a Republican talking point they're trying to distract you with.
I mean, really.
First, before give me a minute more to set all of this up in conversation, and we piggyback on your point. Aaron Sorkin is brilliant. He is an uber liberal Democratic supporter. An interesting observation at this point in his life, because I'm pretty certain at 27, he would have never said that himself. So he's to a certain point in his life where he makes that observation. Congressman Alexandria comes back, and we're showing you the tweet that the congressman did. Newsflash, Medicare for all and equal rights aren't trends. Hello. When people complain about low turnout in some demos, it's not because communities are apathetic. It is because they do not see them fighting for them. If we don't show up for people, why should you feel entitled to their vote? This brand new congressman basically bitch slaps Aaron Sorkin. And to your point, are we watching through Donkey Kong 64 and what we're watching? Are we watching a new breed of politician being born right before our very eyes, and a new voter set that is completely apathetic, deciding I'm going to get in the game.
Yeah,
What do
I
y'all
think as depressing as everything is right now, the fact that Puerto Rican girl from the Bronx. But I just think it's so exciting to see this younger generation that are not taking shit from anybody, because we Democrats always have to be quiet and poised, and now it's like, no, bitch, I got better Twitter handle than you.
And what do we have to lose?
Yeah.
What do we have to lose? Our lives.
Exactly.
You know
We're
what
ready.
I mean? And that's the road we're going down. And just to say, you know, brilliant people make stupid comments all the time. So, you know.
Or Facebook posts.
I mean,
Thank you for that.
I would like to say that, you know, I think that, and I said this yesterday, I think that we have to realize that in every struggle, a lot of times you have different factions of the same struggle that do not agree. However, these factions still are important to getting to the main goal. In the civil rights movement, you had Martin Luther King and you had Malcolm X. Two different ways of approaching the civil rights and approaching the same goal. But I don't think that we would have succeeded had we not had each of them, because you couldn't have the ultimate kumbaya of Martin Luther King alone and get there, and you couldn't have the hard pounding by any means necessary philosophy of Malcolm X and get there. You needed the carrot and the stick.
Yeah.
So I think that when somebody like Aaron Sorkin says what he says, I think he should appreciate that he fights the battle one way, let somebody else fight it another way.
And
I love that.
to that point specifically, and I want to turn this question to you, Aaron. Do you think that AOC, that's what we call her, AOC, that AOC,
Because he can't pronounce her name.
well, it's difficult. Thank you.
Maybe
for
by
that, too.
2020.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think that this new type of politician that we're watching, that the very conservative Republicans that have had the approach that they've had for the last 30 years, do you think that they're going to be able to figure out a way to deal with this new cutting edge?
Oh, they hate it. They hate her, and which I love. And I think we're seeing a cultural shift, and we're seeing a perfect example where AOC is meeting young voters where they are, which is largely online. You know, this is where people hang out. This is where millennials hang out, and there's been such this, you know, it's the cool thing, I guess, for conservatives to do, even in the Democratic Party, to trash millennials. But she's smarter than people think.
You know, I want to bring headlines to a close, but to your point, it's interesting. I have been asked repeatedly of the older guy set, why aren't you on VH1 or Bravo doing something like this? And to that exact point, I constantly point out that streaming is exactly where the world is moving to.
Yeah.
And that's the point that you make in terms of how she's doing it.